Hey,
Oh,
how's it going?
oh, it's going.
Oh, yeah?
Another week is almost over.
How's your week been?
Um, it's been busy. No, I wouldn't say stressful. There's just a lot going on, but like nothing bad. Just busy.
Okay, well, that's
Yep.
good.
Yeah. What about you? Anything new over there?
Um, no, not really.
You're back at the office now for a few weeks. How are you back into the swing of going, taking the BART or whatever, and doing all that stuff again? It's not
I've
new
I've
anymore.
stopped I've stopped like forgetting stuff at home
Okay.
that I need in the office. I still hate going into the office and take any excuse I can get to not have to go in.
How many days are they asking you to? Two, right?
Two.
Yeah.
Too many.
It seems weird that they're even asking you to too, because obviously they don't need you there at all if it's
Yep, no,
only two.
there's a whole bunch of weird like politics that are way above my pay grade, so
Because like it's different when it's like, no, you never could have worked from home. You always had to go to a place. It's like, yeah, okay, then nothing has changed. But obviously, if you can be there for 3 days of the week, then, then
yeah,
obviously
or
you
when they
don't
say
need.
stuff like, "Oh, we have a big event we have to cover today, so why don't you guys work from home because we know you can work better and more efficiently at home."
Right. Weird.
That's a fun one to hear, but anyway,
Yeah.
I'm gonna quickly say I saw Doctor Strange and I liked it, and people should get tune in next week for our
For our TVP.
TVP all
Yeah.
about it. But that was an enjoyable movie, and upon leaving the theater, the movie they had like free like 11 by 17 posters of Doctor Strange,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
which on like I grabbed one, but like honestly I'm kind of in a place in my life where 11 by 17 is just like too small of a poster.
Yeah.
If I want to put a poster up, I want it to be a nice big one that I really like.
Yeah.
But I really liked the art of this print, so I grabbed one.
Okay. Cool.
And my girlfriend says like, "Oh, did you take a look what's in the bin?" I was like, "No, I didn't even notice a bin." And she goes back in there, and I'm waiting for her in the lobby.
Yeah.
She comes out with a full size,
Mm-hmm.
like the see-through, like the real movie poster one
Yeah.
of Everything Everywhere All at Once poster.
Oh, that's awesome.
To which I'm like, "Holy smokes, what else is in there?" And she's like, "I don't know, go take a look." She
Yeah.
goes back in, comes out, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent full size poster.
Just like every movie that's come out the last month in there.
Yeah. So we definitely took those,
Yeah.
and uh and the Unbearable Weight one, we had actually swapped it because it was like the one with like the white border and stuff for the one that's more like a kaleidoscope of all the actors and whatnot. So
Uh-huh.
I got that one,
Oh,
which is
okay.
pretty cool. Look over like a photo on my Twitter, Instagram coming soon.
Nice.
The Everything Ever All at Once one is pretty lame. It's just like the logo with the
Oh,
googly eyes everywhere,
sure.
which is
I
not a
know which one
great
you're
poster.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is one that I've seen online where it's like a kaleidoscope and it's kind of like a painterly look. I wish it was that one, but it wasn't. I'm gonna keep my eye out though, because this place had a bunch of posters. Maybe they'll get more or something.
Cool.
But that was still just like a cool get. And then so I bought some frames for them.
Yeah.
They showed up. One of them sliced my finger open when I was trying to deal with it, and then I
Ooh.
found out both of them were broken.
Oh, great.
So I do like the Amazon like return, send me a replacement. These are broken thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we will send you two new frames.
Yeah.
You don't even have to send those other ones back to us.
It's like, yeah, that makes sense. I'll
And I
just
was
throw
like,
them out
what?
myself.
Why don't you want these back? Why are you just giving me more frames for free?
They're like,
Like, isn't this odd?
we don't want to pay to throw it out. That's your
I
business
guess.
now.
Yeah, I would assume they would want to like
Verify or
fix
something.
them or something and then sell them. I don't know, but I was just
Sure.
surprised that they didn't want them at all.
Yeah, that is very weird.
So I'm waiting for those frames to come, and then I'll hang those up and I'll post some pictures on Twitter or something.
Cool.
Um, all right. Well, if nothing is going on with you, then let's do the Top Down Perspective podcast. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
John's not here. He had some life stuff come up. I'm not really sure, but well wishes to John.
Yeah.
It's May 12th, and I'm Sean Booker.
It is May 12th, and I'm Paul Fleck.
And I'm actually gonna go first
Okay.
with what I've been playing
Mm-hmm.
because I would love to talk to you
Okay.
about the Playdate.
Okay. Have you actually played with it yet?
I played about 45 minutes.
Okay.
So it came today. Unfortunately, I was in the office today, so I didn't get to play too much of it. I got with the case. That's why there's this purple case on it.
Uh-huh.
This thing is just absolutely delightful.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take it out. So take it out of the case. Here's it closed. Sorry for the audio listeners, but like it folds open. Got little indents for the buttons. The screen always stays on, but it says it uses like so little battery in this mode. Why not put the time on it? And then I chose to put the word clock, so it's like written out saying it's 8:15 on Thursday, May 12th.
I'm going to blow you up to full screen for people actually watching, just so you can show it off a little bit better.
So like the back of the case has these like little metal nubs that magnetize into the back of the. Well, that is way blown out. Back of the Playdate, you can kind of see where they would like fit into these little like rivets.
Yeah. Okay.
This thing is so nice and tiny for like scale. It's about half the size. Man, that's really blown out too. It's about half the size of my phone.
Okay. Yep.
I believe if you close a Game Boy Advance SP,
it
it's
is the
same footprint.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I saw pictures of that. I thought that was neat.
Yeah. And it's kind of like an acrylic.
Okay.
Kind of feel to it.
Oh, okay.
It's so nice. It's heavier than you'd think. Like it doesn't feel like a cheap little plasticky guy.
Good. Yeah.
The crank feels good. Crank comes out. Do some cranking.
Yeah.
I don't know. The sound is good. Maybe let me see if I can. It's hard. It's actually hard for me to like see it. So there's no backlight. So you need to have a lamp.
So this is the one thing that when I heard about that, I was just like, "Come the fuck on, really?" Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel like a bit of like a step back.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. I gotta. Right before we were going live, I was side loading some games that I bought on itch, which is like the easiest process ever. You can go to itch. You can just do a search for Playdate, and let me just like I'll send this for you, John. Sorry, John, Paul. Like look how many games there already are for. I'll put it in the chat too. Actually, I'm not even sure I'm logged into Twitch. Yeah, I can't put it in the chat right now.
Okay.
Look how many games on itch there already are for the Playdate. Like dozens of them.
I will put it in for the chat. But yes, there. I mean, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, no backlight. So it's actually kind of hard for me to look at it down here because I don't have a light source going on to the Playdate. I have one coming at my face for the show.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a way to go into the settings and replay the little intro. The little intro is absolutely delightful.
They got that to you quicker than I was thinking because I think wasn't it even just last episode you were saying you were about 1,500 to 2,000 away tech order wise or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. I was following kind of the Discord, and people after my order number was getting theirs. So I was really confused when I was gonna get it, and then on Monday I got a thing saying, "Hey, it's shipped. Should be there in a couple days."
Nice.
Anyway, so it's just kind of teaching me right now how to like what the buttons are. So I just have to press them around.
Cute. Yeah, it's cute.
And now I gotta press A and B. I gotta press B again, I guess. This is just a jam. Now it's like, oh, what's this? Time for some crank. Doing it the right way? Oh, wrong way. There we go. Now you can see it's like going across the screen.
Yeah. So this is just the intro?
This is just the intro. When you first turn it on, you get to do this.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
And it says Playdate.
Awesome.
Like cool. It's so nice. I think what really kind of emphasizes what this is, like, first off, it comes in this cute little box.
Yeah.
Nice and skinny. You can get a shot without the
Playdate
right there.
Nice.
I gotta say, like, When it comes to visual design, it's all minimal. That's just my shit. So I love the way this looks.
Yeah.
And on the back it says, "We made Playdate just for fun."
Yeah.
And I think that's like a great kind of motto for this whole thing.
Yeah.
Is this thing's expensive. Like if
Yeah,
you
it
get
is.
this thing is like 170 with the case, I think it goes up to like 190, 200 or so. You're going to spend about 200 if you want this in the case.
Yes.
Which I don't know why you wouldn't get the case if you're going in for this. The case is like $30.
Yeah.
Like just get it, you know.
Yeah.
This is for like people that just like weird little games.
Yes.
And that's just that does something for them. They like indie games. They like tiny little games that are weird that not everyone's playing. They like being a part of a small community. Like I'm part of like the official Discord, and they have it all broken up into like the way the games come out is once you get it, you get 2 games every week following that.
Yeah.
So because we're all getting it at different times, people who got it like a week or 2 weeks ago have more games than I do, and I can't play their games until I wait the length of real world time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So part of your purchase of the Playdate is you're getting season 1, which I believe is 24 games. So every week, at some point during the week, a light will flash on this, and when I open it up, it'll say in the corner, "New games," and some new games have been downloaded overnight. I
Okay.
have 2 new games to play for that week, which
Sure.
is kind of exciting because there's like nothing really like that, I guess.
Yeah, that's neat. How does it do the like setup for your wireless network or and that stuff? Is it just like a little on-screen keyboard sort of thing, or do you plug it into your computer or?
No, it's wireless. It
Okay.
connects to Wi-Fi, and then yeah, it's not exactly a keyboard. It's more of like a 3-column scroll thing, but they have
Okay.
a way to input all your characters and numbers. It just finds your Wi-Fi and connects it, and then yeah, it downloads updates wirelessly. Does everything wirelessly.
Cool.
It does come with a charge cable,
Yeah.
that is like a USB to USB-C
Yeah.
cable, and it's yellow. It matches, which is pretty nice. I was actually just kind of excited to have a yellow cable because I have so many of those ones in black or
Oh,
dark
sure.
gray.
Uh, Weirdly, the thing. This is such a dumb niche thing. The thing I really like about the Playdate the most is I really like the color they chose. That yellow is great.
It's a great yellow, and then I
Yeah.
love that it pairs with this purple.
Yeah.
Like
They
it's just
chose a great
a good
color.
combo. I could see though if they make like a Gen 2 of these,
Yeah.
like new colors.
Sure. Why not?
Like, you know, like a bright green or like a blue. I could see that come maybe.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, like sure, it's missing the backlight, but what I don't want this thing to turn into 1 or 2 versions down the road is like a more complex device.
Like a bad Game Boy or something.
Or just like, because I mean, eventually you're gonna look at this and be like, well, I could have just played that on like my Switch or my
Oh
computer, and
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
but you're missing the point. That's not like, sure, I just sideloaded a Picross game on here.
Sure.
I could play Picross in 100 different ways
Yes.
on better screens and whatnot. Although the screen on this is pretty nice
Mm-hmm.
for what it's worth. But it's like the point of this is you like weird little niche things. It's tiny, it's pocketable, it's just a unique little thing. It's like people who buy like game and watches. This is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the ultimate game and watch, basically.
Sure.
Like if you're one of the people that went out and bought like that Legend of Zelda game and watch
Yeah.
because you wanted to play Zelda 1 again on a tiny weird little handheld, this is probably for you.
Yeah, you probably already have your order in.
Yeah.
If you're that person, for sure.
Side loading. Oh, holy smokes, it's so much easy. So I'm on Itch.io. I
Yeah.
download. It gives me like a little folder when you download the game. Everything seems to be like pay what you want because it's Itch.io, of course. So
Yeah.
I just been playing whatever like their default, what the developer is thinking the game's worth.
Yeah.
Then you just go onto play.date, which is where you have your Playdate account. You just drag the folder onto your account. Done. Shows up in here in like 2 seconds. You hit install.
Nice. Good.
Nice and easy. Like
Yeah.
I'm hoping people start adding like hey, here's like 5 new games we found for the Playdate that are cool and worth playing.
That's
Like
probably already out.
yeah,
Yeah.
I hope it just keeps going kind of. And
Yeah.
I'm in like the official Discord. I'm sure people are going to be talking about stuff there, but
Yeah.
what's really exciting is once these are in people's hands and we all get season 2 at the same time, That's going to be pretty cool because longer are people going to be ahead of each other. It's now
Yeah,
going to be we're all playing the same 2 games this week. Let's talk about these 2 games.
sure.
So the games I have access to, um, not including my side-loading ones,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that came with the thing is Whitewater Wipeout,
Okay.
which is oh, you probably can't even see that. It's a surfing game.
Okay.
I'm really bad at it, and it's like an old arcade surfing game that I'm equally bad, where you have to like go up the wave and do tricks in the air, and then go up. And you
Yeah.
have to, it's like momentum based,
Yeah.
but you're using the crank to like rotate how the board goes. So you like go up, stuff like that. And then this one, which just has like a great name,
What is the name?
Casual Birder,
That's pretty good.
which is a bird photography game.
Of course.
Who the developers in that Discord that I'm sitting around in and posting in and whatnot, and he's just like giving updates and asking, hey, can people send me some of their save files so I can test the new update with them? And he's just in there. So I played a little bit of the surfing one, super bad. I played more of the Casual Birder because that's more just like story based, going around in, I don't know, like Earthbound-esque area, no combat, and when like a bird shows up, you go into photo mode and you use the crank to focus the
Okay.
uh the
Yeah.
thing, and then you take a picture of the bird and it goes in your little quick be. Um, it's cool. It's nice. This thing is just like it's just delightful to use. It is cool. I'm excited to see what comes over Wi-Fi in the future. I'm excited to see what I can sideload.
Is there an idle game yet where you started off by cranking to gain money and then you can buy things at like double the crank amount or triple it?
I'm sure there must be.
That
or
seems
if it's
like
not,
it.
like it's gonna happen because the
That seems
SDK
an easy
is free. It's
layup.
out there. Like that just
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one yet, but I just barely started scratching the surface of what's available. So I'm going to have to go through itch and take a look at what's in here. There's some like weird looking games in here. Super Corporate Tax Evader, Pocket Planner, Pizza Snake, Rachel's Playdate, Moose Steak. I don't know what any of this is, but I want to check these out.
I really like the idea of just like a bunch of games that are just like the developer's name. Just Rachel's Playdate, Tom's Playdate.
Yep. Like who even knows? And then the cool thing about itch is you can follow developers on itch, so when they release a new thing, you'll get like a notification about it. But yeah, cool. Playdate is pretty exciting. I'm really happy that this thing is that I finally got it. I've been waiting for it. So
Nice. So is Tiny Tina's Wonderland as exciting in your opinion?
yeah, so I started that this week. Been playing some co-op. It finally went on sale digitally, so my buddy and I picked it up and we're playing.
Okay.
It is pretty ridiculous how much that is like. The concept is it's Tiny Tina, everyone's favorite character. Tiny
Yeah.
Tina. Sorry, everybody's second favorite character because Claptrap is obviously number
Of
one.
course.
You'll be happy to know I did find Claptrap in the game.
Oh, thank God. God,
Yeah,
I thought he
I was
wouldn't
worried
be in
because
it.
it took me a few hours, and I was like, if this guy doesn't show up soon, I'm gonna throw my Xbox out the window.
Yeah.
So the concept is Tiny Tina, along with two new characters that are voiced by Tiffany Haddish and why am I blanking on his name? From Lonely Island, the actor
Andy Samberg?
Andy Samberg.
Okay.
So it's those two. They're playing Dungeons and Dragons basically. That is DM'd by Tiny Tina. So you get a lot of Tiny Tina just saying nonsense about whatever. And you're like the newbie that's playing around with them too. So it's all medieval time. I should say, and by what I mean by all medieval time is it's medieval for 5 minutes, and then they give you a gun.
Yeah,
And
of
everyone else
course.
has a gun,
Of course.
and then it's Borderlands.
Yeah. So the thing about this game is that it looked interesting to me, except I think I would kill myself if I had to listen to Tiny Tina for 20 hours. Is she talking all the time?
She's not talking all the time, but
Okay.
but she does pop up like in any kind of like cutscene because she's like she's talking. She'll say
Yeah.
like what's about to happen because she's like the DM and stuff, and then like Andy Samberg will be in and be like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, of
in his like
course.
Andy Samberg voice. I was correct in the chat. It's not Tiffany Haddish. It's Wanda Sykes. Yes, and I actually did know that, but I'm watching After Party at the moment, which does star Tiffany Haddish, and that's why she was stuck in my head. But yes, it
Gotcha.
is Wanda Sykes. Apologies.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't know. So, pretty quickly I kind of just like stopped paying attention to any of the voice acting because it's not good. Um, and then it's Borderlands, and I
Yeah.
like the gameplay of Borderlands. Instead of grenades, you have magic spells, so that's kind of interesting because you can swap those out. And sometimes it's like you shoot like an ice beam. Sometimes it's like you create like a meteor out of the air to smash down on people. Like
Sure.
the spells are kind of fun. The classes are kind of cool. I'm playing a Clawbringer, which means I have a little dragon that flies around me at all times,
Oh, that's cute.
and it'll like attack while I'm attacking and whatnot.
Okay.
Um, my buddy is playing the Spore Warden, so he has a little mushroom dude, the companion that follows us around and attacks. And I understand as we go through the skill tree, our companions are going to get bigger
Yeah.
and
Okay.
turn into like an ent tree for him and like a big dragon. Right now, mine's like a little wyvern.
Cute. Okay.
Um, but it is pretty insane how much it is just like, oh no, we didn't try and make something new. It is just Borderlands. Like we're not making this medieval. You have a gun. You have the like it took maybe 10 minutes for me to be like, well, I've got the shotgun I always have in Borderlands. I'm playing Borderlands again. Um,
Yeah. I mean, that
which
makes
was pretty
sense.
crazy.
Of course.
Um, so it's not open world. You're now there's like instances, and it's not like procedurally generated, but there's like air combat areas that you'll be in or towns that you'll be in, and then when you exit or finish the mission, there's an overworld where it's you and your team in like big head mode walking around on what I assume is supposed to be like the board, but like obviously a
Oh,
much
yeah.
bigger and like more like a like imaginative version of what the board is. That's I think that's what they're trying to get at is like these
Yeah.
are like the miniatures.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And then so what's annoying about that though is like there's like random encounters on the board when you're walking around.
Yeah.
And you can melee them just to like basically say like no, I don't want to do a random encounter. But you should do some of them because that's how you're going to get a lot of your experience.
Mm-hmm.
But what's annoying is the loading times to get into the random encounters are like just too long where I never want to do one of them again. Like if it just blinked me in there, okay,
Hmm.
fine, I'll do this combat arena. And I should say the random encounters, they're all in like the same combat arena for
Okay.
whatever biome you're in. So if
So
I'm in like the forest area, I'm fighting in this exact same forest random encounter area every time.
that's what I was gonna ask. Then it doesn't make sense that you don't just blink in. Essentially, that's really
Yeah,
weird.
it's weird. And like we're both playing on like Series X's, but it's like a weirdly long load into this random encounter. Like I don't understand it. So that's kind of annoying, but like I said, you can avoid it. I'm having fun because it's Borderlands gameplay, and that's kind of what I'm there for, just to get like the numbers to go up and
Yeah.
to like chat with my bud while we're shooting nonsense stuff. And then yeah, there's a claptrap made out of wood there, and he looks kind of steampunky, I guess, because he's got like a chimney on him.
Okay. Still annoying though.
Yeah, I mean he's not all the time there, thank God, but
Oh
I'm
yeah.
assuming he's gonna show up more than once. I've so far only come across him one time in one mission. Um, but Tiny Tina's doing her part. She's giving him a run for his money in terms of knowing voice lines.
Great.
So that's when it comes to what I'm playing this week, it's kind of like a shit sandwich where the buns are the best part. So we got
Okay.
like two peaks with like a valley and below. So now that we're out of the valley, let's go to the peak. I played through all of Citizen Sleeper.
Yeah, I heard this is people have said disappointingly short. They wanted more, but tell me about Citizen Sleeper.
Okay. I probably got close to like 7 hours out of it. I thought it was like the perfect length for what I was looking for, but I will say I love this game. So like more of what I love, sure, that's fine. But I was
Mm-hmm.
totally content with what I got.
Okay.
Um, if people's been following my recommendations when it comes to like Game Pass this year and you played Norco and like it, then you just got to follow this new recommendation and you got to play Citizen Sleeper as soon as possible. Um, much like Norco, this is a like story focused narrative that is just fantastic. Like holy smokes. I've been seeing a ton of people on Twitter talking about this thing and they're absolutely right. So this is unlike so Norco's a point and click adventure game.
Yep.
Citizen Sleeper is a visual novel that has some like tabletop role playing elements in there. And it's I'm gonna do my best to kind of describe it, but it's definitely something more visual. So the way it works is there's like a not a day night cycle, but like a day cycle, and
Okay.
each morning you are a sleeper, which is basically like a synthetic uh robot. You've
Okay.
like taken over one, like your main form is in like cryostasis somewhere, and your mind was teleported through some kind of weird emergency event into this sleeper.
Okay.
And sleepers are known as these people, and they're somewhat illegal and whatnot, and yada yada yada. So you're on this space station called the Eye, and you're just trying to survive. Um, so there's a number of different like NPCs that you'll come across, and each morning you wake up and there will be a dice roll, and you'll get 5 dice, and that's pretty much if you think of like a tabletop role playing game, that's how you're going to interact with the world today.
Sure.
So let's say I go and I'm like, hey, I really need to make some money today, so I'm going to go to the scrapyard and I'm going to work on scrapyard stuff, whatever it is,
Hmm.
and things to be like, hey, this is a risky thing you're about to do, so you're going to want to put in one of your high rolls so that you have a better chance. And the way it works is 5 and 6 will give you a positive outcome.
Yeah.
3 and 4 will give you a 50% chance of a neutral outcome with a 25% chance either way of being a negative outcome or a positive outcome. And then 1 to 2 are 50% chance of neutral, 50% chance of negative.
Sure.
So you're going to input your dice into these things to like progress, just doing different actions, like if you're thinking of a tabletop game. And then you'll get credits back. You can sometimes get food back depending on what you're doing. If something negative happens, it can take part of your energy level down or your condition level down. And if you think of your condition as a meter, which it is, the lower it is, the less dice you'll get each new cycle. And a cycle is like the day. So
Sure.
you want to keep your condition up so that you have more dice at your disposal so you can do more things and get more things done and progress more storylines. Like if you can only buy food once each dice, you want to be able to buy more food with more dice.
Sure.
And you want to also make sure that your starvation meter is full because if it's lower, your condition level will go down further. And I think it might also impact the numbers you get. I think if you're like full, you might get better numbers on your dice rolls. I could be wrong. The one downside I will say to this game is there's a lot of text up front.
Yeah.
Go in there expecting to be a little confused for at least 30 minutes, if not like a full hour. But if you get over that hump, it is absolutely worth it because I felt extremely lost. And then I came away with this game being like, holy smokes, I absolutely adored this game. So
Okay.
so it has a steep learning curve. Like just, be ready for that, brace yourself for that, but it is worth it.
Okay. Cool.
And so you're not just like buying food, getting money and stuff. You're also meeting people on the Eye, the space station, and you're going through their quests and their like stories. And the way to do that is it could be like, hey, this one person wants you to help them recreate their ship, or this person wants you to help grow some mushrooms. And that will require you to like put in those dice into their thing a certain number of times to like fill up their meter to like make the next part of their quest happen. And sometimes you have to wait a few days, so you're doing a few things. It's also very cyberpunk-y. There's a lot of like hacking little things you can do through the same thing of like put a dice in, get your outcome, yada yada yada. There's a ton of different side quests. There's a bunch of different endings. Luckily, I think you can get almost all the endings. It just like once you complete it, it puts you out right before you make that like last decision, and then you can just go do something else.
I like that. Yep.
Yeah. Pro tip: make sure you get the endings with Lem and Mina. Holy
Okay.
smokes, some of the best endings with them. Like just like some beautiful storytelling, in my opinion. Probably my favorite.
Cool.
Um, And I'll leave you with this. I was
Mhm.
enjoying this game so much. I looked up what is this developer,
Mhm.
and I actually forgot their name, so I'm gonna quickly do a Google. Publisher's fellow traveler, Jump Over the Edge. The Age. Jump Over the Age is the developer.
Okay.
They put out a previous game called In Other Waters. I was like, oh,
Okay.
I don't know what this game is at all either. Seems to be another kind of narrative focused thing. It's on Steam.
Mhm.
It's on Switch. As of yesterday, it was 60% off, so I bought it on Switch immediately. It looks like it's no longer discounted, unfortunately.
Oh, nice.
Um, but like I liked Citizen Sleeper so much, I just wanted to play more from this developer, and I picked up their game on Switch. And I started that briefly, and I'll be talking about that soon
Okay.
as well. But if you have Game Pass, it's on Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass. I feel like it plays a little better on PC just because it's like a clickable game. It's
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
to click on the dice, you want to drag the dice in there. It works fine on Xbox. I just felt more comfortable doing stuff on PC.
Yeah.
I cannot recommend it enough. Again, that's Citizen Sleeper.
Cool.
And that's all I've been playing this week.
Nice. This week played a whole bunch of tiny indie horror stuff. The two that I really want to talk about, though, one of these was recommended by a listener of ours here. It's called Save Room Organization Puzzles, and what it literally is just the Resident Evil 4 like inventory, but as a puzzle game.
Okay, I did see this when it came out. Yes.
Yeah, so I played through that because that I would call disappointingly short because I want that to be like my new P-Cross for like a month or something. It is
Okay.
only 40 boards or 40 puzzles.
Now you did say it's like a horror game. Is there actual horror elements, or is it just a puzzle game?
It's just a puzzle game. It's
Okay.
just it kind of fit the theme because it's Resident Evil 4. It is like literally the same as the Resident Evil 4 stuff. Like the things mix the same way, and that's part of the puzzle as well. So I thought maybe it would be a little bit too easy for a bit, but then like later on it gets a little crazy in some spots, and you do need to like make sure all of your guns have some ammo in them, which means you have to know like which guns you can fully load or like half load so you don't like for example, there's two different types of magnums. One only takes 6 bullets and the other takes like up to 10, and you can like make 10 magnum bullets by combining a bunch of stuff. You have to make sure that you load the 6 shooter first so that you have 3 left or 4 left over to put in the 10, because you can't have any gun with like 0 ammo in it and just shit like that. And it's
Okay.
also just like weird. You have too many things, so you have to find out a weird combination on how to hurt your health so you can heal it the appropriate amount with using different healing items so that you can fit everything that you have left. It's in
Okay,
super
yeah. So it
interesting.
actually sounds like there's like some depth to the layers of like puzzle game, and it's not just make sure
Yeah.
they all fit physically in the box.
There is a little bit more, yeah. And it's funny because it is stuff that playing those games or playing that game, there are times where it's just like, oh shit, I have this ammo or this gun that I really, really want and I can't fit it. Okay, let me just mix up these herbs. Shit, I still can't fit it. Okay, what if I take some damage and then I heal it with this? Now I can fit it. It's that, and it's so good.
Okay, so it really feels like this person has played a lot of Resident Evil.
Yes.
This is like a weird love letter to this franchise.
It absolutely is, yeah. First and
great.
foremost, and then it's a puzzle game. It's not the other way around where it's a puzzle game and then Resident Evil is mixed in there. Yeah, it's super cool, and it's a couple bucks. I think if you are the type of person that's like, I really like the inventory system in Resident Evil 4, just buy this. Support the developer, just buy this and play it. It's super good.
Nice.
It's just too short. 40 boards is not enough. I wanted like 1,000 hours in this. I never wanted to leave, and I was done, I think, in like 2 hours maybe, and I took my time with it. The next one is another kind of love letter to Resident Evil in a different way. It is a brand new indie game called Nightmare of Decay, and it just has a whole bunch of like references and obvious inspirations to that, Silent Hill and all those types of horror games. It's a first person indie shooter where you are investigating a mansion that you are trapped in at like you the setup is that when you go to sleep, you're trapped in this like horror mansion and you're trying to get out or find the way out. And you just go deeper and deeper into it and things get weirder and weirder. It's just super well done. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Nice.
Yeah, there's nothing more to say about it. If you are a fan of Resident Evil, you should check that one out too. Trek to Yomi. I played through this.
I wanted to. There was just so much on my plate. This is kind of like my next game. I wanted to get Citizen Sleeper out of the way.
Yeah, Trek to Yomi, I will say, is short. It is about a 4-hour stint, which is
I could go for that right now.
Yeah, it was okay. Trek to Yomi is one of those games that is absolutely phenomenal in its look and feel. The music is great. It plays like a movie. Like it has a very cinematic feel where you'll go into like a new part of the stage or whatever, and like the camera will be showing something in the foreground that's kind of framing like your area, and it's very, very cool. The gameplay is subpar, I would say. It is not. It's the best I would say is it's serviceable in a lot of spots, which is okay because you don't do a lot of it, but there is a lot of the same enemy type. I think there's about 5 to 6 different types of enemies that you face for 4 hours worth of game over and over, which is disappointing.
Sure.
But yeah, you kind of, if you know what Trek to Yomi is, you're kind of not going into that for like an amazing gameplay experience anyways. You're going into it because you love Kurosawa movies and aesthetics, and you like the feudal Japanese type thing going on there, with a little bit of weird like Journey to Hell sort of thing mixed in. The story is also kind of subpar. It's pretty standard, like, does samurai choose this way or this way? Like, you know what I mean? It's pretty standard. But yeah, it looks really good, sounds really good. It's on Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass and like 4 hours, maybe sit down, check it out. I also ran into the problem that I run into with games like this, where you want to play it like you're watching a movie because the way it's kind of like the shots are, if you will, the way the camera movements are and everything's set up. It feels like when something's happening, you just want to run through that area, just like slicing dudes up that are in your way because it's like a tense moment. But then this is a video game and they have collectibles, so you're going to shove your face in a bunch of corners like an idiot, and that feels bad.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I can see that. But then if this game's short and they took the collectibles out, that's probably cutting almost an hour off.
Yeah, the collectibles are okay as well. They don't really add anything. They're like flavor. They add some like mythology info and like about the gods or whatever in them, and if you read their descriptions, and that's cool. Otherwise, it's pretty standard pickups like health upgrades and stam upgrades, but those I found that you don't really have to look that far out of the way for. Those they kind of give to you as you go, which is kind of nice. Also, I'll say I played on normal, which maybe trivialized some of the fights. Some of the fights were still kind of wonky just because I felt the controls were kind of meh in some spots, but I think some of that sword fighting would have benefited from me playing on hard, where I would have had to think my combat maneuvers out a little bit harder. But yeah.
Okay.
Trek to Yomi, check that shit out. 4 hours on Game Pass.
Well, I'll trade you. This week I'll play Trek to Yomi and you play Citizen Sleeper.
Citizen Sleeper has been installed for about a week now, so one day I will get to it, I think. Maybe.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, let's do some news. Nintendo had a indie game live stream. I don't think they call them Nindies anymore. I don't know if there's anything like news related. I don't need to tell you like every game that was announced here. I will say a new game by the Gato Roboto team is coming called Gunbrella, which sounds pretty fun. Mini Motorways is coming to Switch, and that's a cool game. I thought Wayward Strand looked really good. And then Aggro Crab is making a Souls-like that they are calling a Shells-like, where you play a
Yeah.
cool crab fighting stuff, and that seemed pretty dope.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah, there wasn't anything like major that popped out, but some small stuff that I've heard on other platforms coming to Switch, and it's like, oh, cool, that thing, like, totally accurate battle simulator is coming to Switch, and that's probably a good move. Card Shark, I think, looks fantastic. I can't wait for that. Curse to Golf, still looking forward to that. So
Yeah, that one I
hey,
want.
the Switch has games coming.
Cool. Okay.
Gotham Knights had a bit of an update, showed off some more of that. Kind of the big news about that, however, was that they canceled the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the game.
I mean, yeah, that sucks, but sure.
It's kind of just like one of those, like, hey, someone had to be first, right?
Yeah, someone was going to be first for sure.
Like it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
So I guess this is starting the slow journey to the end of those consoles, maybe. Which one I'm sure will still be years away before those consoles actually stop getting supported. But
Yeah, for sure.
the quote was to provide players with the best possible gameplay experience. That's the reason they are canceling the old ones. I'm assuming it just eventually, like, hey, they wanted to do stuff with it where the old stuff was holding them back, and they were like, we could put out subpar versions of these games, but I think it will hurt us more than if we just put out 3 really good versions of this game on the current consoles and PC.
Now they better make sure that those are really good versions. If they run bad on the console, on like a PS5 or something, there's going to be hell to pay.
I mean, I could still see the argument, though, of like, hey, if it's running this bad on the PS5, just imagine what it would be on PS4.
It didn't, yeah, it just didn't run on PS4 at all.
Yeah, so. Ubisoft, they had an earnings call this week, and kind of the little bit tidbit that came out of there is that Mario and Rabbids 2, the Avatar game, and Skull and Bones are all set to release within fiscal year 23, which is from now until the end of March 2023.
Yeah, about the next year, roughly.
I don't believe Skull and Bones will come out.
Yeah, man. Like, I've been kind of waiting to hear anything about it, but I don't know. At this point, I don't
even
care.
know. It's one of those games where it's like, I don't think this will ever come out, but it's been in development for so long. I feel like they have to put it out at some point. They've just worked so much on it.
Yeah.
But I'm still like, I don't know. Hey, I'm excited for the Mario and Rabbids sequel. Out of these 3 games, that's the one I want to play.
Sure.
Bethesda put an announcement. Starfield and Redfall are being delayed to the first half of 2023.
Yep.
I'm not surprised to hear about Starfield. I am kind of surprised to hear about Redfall also getting delayed.
Yeah, I was under the impression that was further along, but maybe just not ready.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, hey, I'll take all the time in the world. I'm all for delays. And if this is supposed to be the follow-up to Skyrim, like,
yeah,
I can only imagine how janky Starfield is going to be no matter what or when it comes out.
Yeah, for sure. Not wrong.
But also, like, could you imagine just trying to follow up Skyrim?
Yeah. I almost feel like Starfield is doomed to fail in some regards because of it, but I hope
like, it's
doesn't.
just so big. Like, holy smokes. Good luck coming. I feel similarly with, like, Nintendo and, like, Breath of the Wild. Like, good luck following up with that. Same with Elden Ring now. Like, just these, like, massive games. Like, good luck, guys. The Fall Guys Twitter account tweeted this morning that the biggest announcement in the history of Fall Guys is landing on May 16th.
Okay.
No idea what that is yet. I will say Nintendo retweeted this announcement. So maybe a Switch version.
Yeah.
I would love a Game Pass version. Bring that thing to Game Pass. That would be quite the get. But I guess we'll find out next week. Get excited for whatever the biggest thing. What, you have any guesses, Paul? Free to play? NFTs?
Oh my god. The way they can stomp down their grave is NFTs. Free to play would be great. That might actually get me to play it again on a weekend with just some people who never bought it or something.
Sure. Also, speaking of 2023, Dead Space got an official release date, January 27th.
Fuck
This is
yeah.
obviously the Dead Space remake.
Super excited about that.
What's not super exciting is this this quote from Jim Ryan today.
I was wondering if we were going to bring this up. All right.
Jim Ryan, the CEO of PlayStation.
Uh-huh.
I'll just read the tweet here from Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg because I don't have a Bloomberg account, so I can't look into the actual article.
Yeah, same.
PlayStation boss Jim Ryan sent an email today asking his staff to, quote, respect differences of opinion, end quote, on abortion rights. Then he wrote 5 paragraphs about his 2 cats' birthdays, their habits, and his desire to get a dog. People are not thrilled.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So just a real quick fuck you to Jim Ryan. I don't even know if there's anything that else needs to be said about that.
I'm telling you, man. Jim Ryan needs to be kicked out. I fucking hate that guy. So much.
That is not a good look. Like
he just gets worse every time I see his name pop up on Twitter. It's something like slightly worse every time.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Moving on to something more upbeat. Apex Legends Mobile comes out next week, May 17th.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
I'll probably try that for a round or 2.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to play much of that. I didn't like the Switch version.
Oh, yeah. It's probably very, very similar. True.
I know it's going to have like separate battle passes and everything, so it might be kind of a separate thing, but who even knows? And this last news came in right before the show. An Alan Wake TV show is in development at AMC.
Yeah. Okay. I'm into it.
I'll watch this.
Yeah,
I like
of course.
Alan Wake a whole bunch.
Yeah, I'm into it. Sure.
AMC, I liked The Walking Dead for a few seasons there, so I don't have anything against AMC. Honestly, who even cares what channel it's on?
True.
Although it's probably going to be like, you have to get AMC Plus.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're probably right.
So maybe I will, subscribe to that for a month and check out the Alan Wake TV show. But I'm more just curious what this could actually be, how much Remedy is involved, maybe who they get to play Alan. I'm very curious about. So a lot of questions. I like that property quite a bit. There was a few other Alan Wake announcements now that I think about it, because it was like a Alan Wake anniversary thing. I believe they announced Alan Wake Remastered for Switch.
Okay.
They showed some screenshots of Alan Wake 2. It's looking pretty horror game-like, so that sucks.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's all I can remember from those announcements. Why don't we do some questions?
All right.
And while I'm doing this, Paul, do you want to grab the questions from the email account?
Oh, sure.
popdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box are the ways to send in your questions.
True. Those are all ways.
Those are all the ways. I don't think there's any more of them. But I can read this first question from Linebeck. If you could turn all your skills in one thing into a skill for another thing, what would you choose and why?
I would turn my skill of overthinking everything to the worst possible thing to literally anything else.
Is that a skill?
I mean, I'm good at it, so yes.
I was say, is that a skill or is that like a curse?
It's both.
You have to be able to practice a skill and like improve.
Oh, trust me, I can practice and improve. But yes.
I don't know. So it'd have to be something that I'm like really good at, but I don't care that I'm good at it. I don't know. Like the only thing that comes to mind in terms of something that I could put it towards would be like maybe knowing a language. But if I really wanted to know a language that much, I would have like dedicated some time and learned a language. I don't think there's anything I would give up really. Because even if I have stuff that I don't use all the time, like I was pretty good at learning math growing up. Math is pretty useful.
Yeah,
I get rid of my math skills.
Yeah, I don't really want to give anything up either.
Okay.
So, Matthew writes, about 9 months ago, I sent an email into this podcast about doing my video game homework and playing a lot of old JRPGs. I remember. Since then, I finished said homework and played Dragon Quest 1 to 6 and Final Fantasy 1 to 6. Playing so many sequels in the same series was fun and got me thinking. What's the game series in which you beat the most consecutive entries? Feel free to define series however you want. For me, it's the main Pokemon series, since I've beaten 19 games from Fire Red through Ultra Moon.
Okay, first off, I'm going to say, I don't know if you finished your homework. There's a lot more Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy games.
Yes.
They didn't stop at 6. But however, 9 months playing 12 RPGs, that's impressive.
Yeah, man. That's really good.
Mine's
count.
probably also Pokemon, if we're counting that.
Yeah, that of course that counts.
Yeah.
I mean, mine's RE. I'm gonna count which games they are.
I'm trying to think. Like Ace Attorney, there's 8 of those, not including the Japanese one. 9 if you do the crossover. Yeah, I think Pokemon is just still, there's so many of them I played through, so I think that's just gonna win no matter what.
28 games in Resident Evil.
Wow.
28 out of 29. There is one I didn't play because I don't care about it. It's Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D because I don't like Mercenaries mode, and it's on the 3DS.
Oh, but you're so close to doing all of them. How can you just like not get 100%?
Because I hate mercenary modes. I think it's garbage.
But then you're just done. You're like, you've done it.
Doesn't matter.
Wow.
My enjoyment's more important.
Doing something like, yeah, I did 99% of it. It's like, that would just drive me insane.
No, my enjoyment's more important than some dumb bullshit idea like that.
Kevin writes, you can only taste sweet, savory, or salty for the rest of your life. Which one do you pick?
Oh man, it's definitely between savory or salty. I'm just trying to think of like which one I would get sick of sooner. It's probably
I think this
salty.
Is the easiest question, and it's savory. Are you kidding? Picking only salty?
Yeah, I know, right? You would get sick of that pretty quick.
I think you get sick of that by the end of the day.
No, there's no way.
Like all you're tasting is the salty part of any meal. That's not great. Because I think of a food.
Mm-hmm.
I can say like sometimes this is too sweet, but it's not like killing me. I'm never once saying this is too savory. There's often where I'm like, wow, this is too salty, and like that can go bad real fast.
Oh, I'm the opposite. Things are too sweet for me. I hate sugar. I absolutely can't stand it.
But things that are too salty, I would are real bad.
No, they're fine.
Oh no!
Like
okay,
salted candies.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
What would you have an easier time doing? Tablespoon of sugar or tablespoon of salt?
Salt, 100% easy. Not a problem. I've done it.
I think I'm the opposite, but I think savory is just the easy.
Savory is
the actual answer here.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about umami? If we throw that in there, it's still
I
probably
don't know
savory.
enough about that.
Like, you know that Japanese taste, for lack of a better term.
I know it's a Japanese taste. I couldn't think of umami as I don't know what that tastes like right now. I just know it's the Japanese one.
Yeah, I mean savory's still probably the answer. Just throwing that out there as an option. I think I would take that over salty even. So it's between savory and umami, and it's probably savory still.
I'm not even like a sweets guy, and I would still take sweet over salty and then savory over everything.
Yeah. Savory has a bigger kind of like umbrella as well, just in general, I think.
It's almost unfair because again, I don't think I've ever said, "Oh, this is too savory. I can't eat this."
Yeah, that's a weird sentence. Too savory. BGC Kenny writes, if you were to wake up in a Sonic the Hedgehog universe, would you rather be as a human? Would you rather be you as a human, you as an anthropomorphic animal in the style of the Sonic characters, or you as a robot in the style of the Sonic robots? Are the humans in the Sonic universe enslaved? Are they like okay? I guess it depends.
No, I think they're saying like human, a Sonic character, or like a metal Sonic, or like one of the robot guys, you know?
But like Metal Paul, Oh man, I might be into that. It depends if I got
I
to
don't know why you'd
change
pick
my
the robot one.
upgrades.
That seems like the worst one. I mean, I feel like if you pick the Sonic one, you're basically a superhero. Like, you get superpowers.
No, you're probably one of the shitty friends though. That doesn't
Even
have
then,
it.
like the shitty friends can like fly and shit.
Yeah. No, probably robot.
Okay, I'll pick the Sonic one, I guess, because then I get superpowers.
All right.
Hebrew Lantern writes, "What's something you eat cold that should really be eaten hot, or vice versa?"
Oh.
I'm trying to even think of like examples where this is like a normal thing. The only thing that comes to mind is like cold pizza or like frozen Pop Tarts.
Oh, frozen Pop Tarts sounds disgusting to me.
When people do that, like they'll
Yeah.
freeze the Pop Tarts instead of like toasting them.
Ugh.
Um, and I don't do either of those though, so I can't
Yeah,
even pick
yeah.
that. I don't know if there is one for me.
I don't do cold pizza, actually. I'm not a fan of it.
I can eat cold pizza, but it's pretty rare that I'm in a place where there's cold pizza available and there's not a microwave available.
That's the
Like
thing.
they're
Yeah.
usually near each other, and it's like, well, I'm gonna put this in the microwave.
That's the thing. Yeah, for sure.
So I don't think there is one for me. And so the vice versa, something that I eat hot that should be cold. What would that even be like if I'm nuking like an apple? No, I'm not doing that.
Hmm.
Ice cream. Okay. The only thing I could possibly think of is like I'm not a big fan of hot drinks. So if I had the option of like here's some hot chocolate, or and we won't judge you, even though of course they would. We can cool down this hot chocolate for you to make it chocolate milk. I would personally prefer to drink the cold chocolate, the cold hot chocolate, but I'm not going to make someone like cool down hot chocolate for me because that's an insane thing to ask.
Sure. I get you. There's nothing for me really.
All
Like
right.
unless there's some weird like, well, I think you should be doing this, and then it's like, well, that's not the normal acceptance anyway. So, Suku. Seeing the news about EVE Online, I've always been curious about it, but seeing as it would take thousands of hours to get into, it put me off forever. There's many such games where it's more a lifestyle than a thing you play. What's that one series you always wanted to get into but couldn't justify due to the immense commitment it require?
I think at this point, Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
I
There
just hear
isn't one.
tons of people raving about that, but I also hear a lot of people saying like, "Yeah, you just have to get through like the first 60 hours and then it gets really good."
Yeah, the closest thing to me is I want kind of to know Kingdom Hearts, but I don't want to play all of the Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
So that's the closest. But like, I played EVE Online. I play anything I want to see if I'm into it at all, and then I realize that usually I'm just not.
Yeah, no, there's definitely somewhere it's like, oh, I want to do this, but I know I'm gonna have to commit a bunch of time to it to actually get enjoyment out of it, as opposed to like
Yeah.
if I only play 5 hours, it's gonna be like, what was the point of doing that? I might as well save it for when I somehow have all that time. Um, Another one is like Yakuza. I want to play through all of those,
Oh yeah.
and I keep telling myself like, you bought them, like you started a little bit, but it's like there's rarely time where I don't have like four other things that are more immediate on my wanting to play list.
Yeah. Sure.
Masterman writes, "What's the maximum number of movies you've watched from the same series? Series as in, for example, Fast and Furious, Harry Potter, among others."
Maximum numbers.
So Fast and Furious would be 10 of them.
I mean, I've seen almost all the James Bond movies.
Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know how many. I'm trying to find a number here.
Does the Marvel ones count, or because they're all their own little ones, is that separate?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because if those count, it's probably that, because that's like 30 something at this point or whatever it is. And you could even put TV shows in there and everything as well.
Yeah. I mean, if that counts, it's mine too. Because I mean, I've been doing that for a decade and some now. Like a long fucking time.
Is there more Marvel movies than there are James Bond movies?
Well, I don't want to just count my. I'm trying to see if there's a list here, but Wikipedia has it split up weird. What if I just Google how many James Bond?
You're gonna
movies
Google
are
how many
there?
James Bond movies I've seen.
I've seen, yeah. 27 movies. It seems like.
Oh, I thought there was more. So then, yeah, Marvel definitely eclipses that easily in like a fraction of the length of time.
Yeah.
And people in the chat are saying MCU counts, so I think it's just MCU because, like, at
Oh,
this
yeah.
point, there's 3 MCU movies a year. There's like 3 TV shows you could put on there, which are longer than the movies. So it's like that's like everyone's answer at this point, sooner or later.
Yeah. Yep, that's the answer. Phantom Aegis, ahoy TDP crew. What do you overall prefer to see in stories you consume? A fallen hero or a villain redeeming themselves? I like fallen hero.
I think it would be hard to find a story that doesn't include a fallen hero because that's kind of how like story structure works. Is they get to their like lowest point right before the final confrontation where they overcome it all.
Yeah, I mean, most stories have a fallen hero that is a villain redeeming themselves in the end. Like, that's usually
I
a
don't
lot
know,
of characters' arcs.
So I guess fallen hero because that's just pretty standard. That's my answer too.
Yeah.
I mean, if the villain redeeming themselves is like a cool way, and not just like a we're gonna ignore all the atrocities you did, but like an actual cool thing, that's always super fun as well. And last question from Dead: have you ever played a video game where one of the characters steals the show?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Trying to think of
I'm
like
thinking the detective in Norco is a recent one. He comes out of nowhere, and then that last act, it's like, where have you been this whole game, my dude?
I can't remember his name. Tell you in 2 seconds.
What was
here.
the one detective in that FMV game we did on TV Plus that
that's
does
the
like the
game
hand signs?
That's the game I'm looking at. That's who I can't remember.
It's not shape-shifting detective, although the actor shows up in that one.
What the hell was that game even called again?
I don't remember. I just remember his follow-up game.
I thought it was Contraband for some reason, but no, that's a different
I
thing.
think it may have started with a C.
Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, so I saw somebody say in the Discord.
Contradiction,
right? Yeah.
I forget what the character's name is though. Yeah, Jenks. I had Jenkins in my head. I didn't think that was right. Someone says Jenks.
Yeah.
He's great too, for sure.
Somebody in our Discord said Sans and Undertale. It's like, yeah, of course.
Sure.
He's the one that has all the Rule 34 about him, so he's obviously the one that people like.
Well, I'm sure they all have it. It's Rule 34.
Actually, you're right. They probably do.
It's an all-encompassing thing.
Yeah, they probably do.
All right. That's going to do it for questions. If people want to send questions next week, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
Nightmare of Decay.
And mine is easily Citizen Sleeper.
Okay.
Stuff to look forward to. The submission thread for our Patreon, for next month's Patreon poll. I guess next week's Patreon poll is live. So if you're in the top tier and you want to submit a game, go do that. And stay tuned for next week. Next weekend. TVP will be about the new Doctor Strange movie.
Yes.
Other than that, we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.